Yan po. Kaya naman marapat lamang na tayaan ng malaki ng pamahalaan ang banana industry at tugunan ang mga pangailangan ng mga magsasaka at mga agri-entrepreneurs na malaki man o maliit. Ngayong hapon, pag-uusapan po natin ang current status ng Philippine banana industry both for the local and international markets. Gayun din, hihimayin natin ang mga suliranin na kinakaharap ng sektor sa ngayon at paano ito tinutugunan ng pamahalaan at syempre po, katuwang na rin ang pribadong sektor. And let us welcome our resource person this afternoon, the chairman of the Filipino Banana Growers and Exporters Association, walang iba ko si Mr. Alberto F. Bacani. Good afternoon, Alpi. Siya po, ang nickname niya po, Alpi. Yes, Alpi?
Magandang hapon po.
Yes,
magandang hapon, Sec Noel, at sa lahat ng nanonood ng programang ito, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.
Yan po. At siguro po, familiar sa inyo ang pangalang Bacani. Yan po ay dati kong boss dito sa Secretary of Agriculture. At nagkataon po, anak si Alpi, ni Secretary Senen Bacani. Yan po. At yan po ay involved din sa saging nung nakarang araw bago siya ma-appoint as Secretary of Agriculture. First and foremost, kumustahin po natin ang ating taya, meaning ano po yung banana industry as a whole and its role dito sa Philippine economy? Alpi?
Tulad ng sinabi mo kanina, Sec Noel, ang Pilipinas ay ang pangalawa sa mundo sa export ng Cavendish bananas, kasunod ng Ecuador. Ang estimated annual export revenue base sa mga datos ng nakaraan na taon ay nasa 1.9 billion US dollars ang pinapasok na revenue sa ating bansa taon-taon.
Okay. So, gaano kalaki naman ang tinatamnan nito at ilang kumpanya ang involved dito sa PBJ?
Mahigit kumulang sa mga 60,000 hectares ang nakatanim sa Mindanao ng Cavendish bananas. At ang mga players dito sa industriya na to ay 50% mostly yung mga malalaking korporasyon tulad ng Dole, Del Monte, Unifruti, Sumifru. At yung naiwang 50%, yun naman yung mga kooperatiba at mga small growers ng saging.
Okay. Ito, with the ongoing pandemic, paano naapektuhan? Siyempre, naapektuhan kayo, no? Ang sektor at siguro bumaba rin ang production and export. So, kumusta ito po? Kumusta naman kayo from this?
Well, sa kabutihang palad, ang pandemyang ito ay hindi negatibong nakaapekto sa supply ng Cavendish bananas. Actually, nagpapasalamat kami sa mga ahensya ng pambansang pamahalaan, partikular na ang Kagawaran ng Agrikultura, ang DTI at ang DILG, sapagkat sa maagang bahagi pa lang ng pandemya ay naglabas kaagad sila ng mga kani-kanilang memorandum na tinukoy kung aling mga negosyo ang tinuturing na essential. At buti na lang nasama ang mga agribusiness tulad ng pagsasaka ng saging sa klasifikasyon na ito.
Okay. Ito, tina-flash dito ngayon yung yearly na ating production, no, in volume, boxes ng PBJ. No? So can you tell us in detail what's this bar graph shows?
Okay, so ito yung more or less last 10 years ng production ng Cavendish. So hindi to yung buong so mean to say, wala dito yung mga lakatan, yung mga latundan. This is purely Cavendish volume. Okay. So yung ginamit na figures dito ay in millions of boxes. So bawat box ng saging ay yung weight niya more or less 13.5 kilos.
Okay.
So as you can see, yung trend, ang naging the highest year in history for the Cavendish banana industry was noong 2011, nung umabot ng 226 million.
Wow.
And this was before Typhoon Pablo, because if you remember, Typhoon Pablo was the first typhoon na dumaan talaga sa gitna ng Mindanao, di ba?
Yeah.
Kasi before,
yes,
unheard of yung typhoon sa Mindanao. But after Typhoon Pablo, as you can see, biglang nag-drop siya, and nagkaroon ng konting recovery, but in the end, uh, as of last year, we've reached the lowest. And this is because after Typhoon Pablo, mabilis nag-spread yung tinatawag na Panama disease
Okay.
dahil sa
Saan naman?
flooding.
Okay. Yung ine-export natin, saan naman papunta? Karamihan. I know, Japan ang punta ng karamihan ng ating saging, no? Yung Cavendish banana. So, saan pumupunta yung ating mga saging?
About 70% ay pumupunta sa mga bansang China at Japan. The majority goes to China and Japan. At then yung 15% naman sa Korea, at yung naiwang 15% ay napupunta sa Middle East at sa New Zealand.
I see. So ito yung figures ng China and Japan. Anyway, are we looking into developing other markets? South Korea for one? Or others?
Actually, well, South Korea has been an existing market, but
Okay.
we've looked at other markets, like markets that are traditionally supplied by Latin America, like the USA and Europe. But logistically, it doesn't make sense dahil sobrang layo. So
Okay.
it's easier to be supplied from Latin America, which are closer to the US and Europe, diba?
Yeah.
So
These figures state or mean that competitive talaga ang Philippine bananas.
yes.
In say in box terms, magkano 'yon per dollar or something ngayon, going rate ngayon.
More or less the FOB value of one box of bananas is around $8.50 to $9 per box.
Okay.
Yes, that's
Ganun din yung
FOB
ibang
Davao.
yung din ganun din ang ibang presyo na Ecuador or something. Depende naman sa kanilang, 'di ba may Chiquita pa sila? Iba ang klase ba o Cavendish din?
Well, actually, yung Latin American countries, they export in 18 kilo boxes. So mas malaki
Oh, malalaki.
yung mas malaki yung box nila. So but in terms of of value, more or less it's the same.
I see. So, napakaganda po, no? Kung mga kaibigan, kung kayo po ay nakapunta sa Davao o sa iba pang parte doon sa Mindanao, lalo na pag banana plantation, ako, kamangha-mangha, no? Ang ganda ng ating makikita dyan, no? Ayan, nakikita nyo sa picture ngayon yan. Ito po yung hinuhugasan, ayan. At nilalagyan sa vat, cleaning vat. At saka nilalagyan ng etiketa at nilalagay sa boxes. Mga 2 piling, no? 2 hanggang 3 piling na saging kada box, di ba, Alpi?
Actually, 5 to 6 na piling on the average kada box.
May
Yes.
ano yan, eksakto yung size, di ba? Yung discriminating ang sizes kung, di ba? Ang sizes niyan. Hindi pwedeng maliit, hindi
Actually,
pwedeng malaki.
dapat, well, pwedeng maliit, pwedeng malaki, basta uniform in one box. So let's say, kung
I
maglalagay ka
see.
ng maliit, puro parehong size yung nasa
Maliliit.
isang box.
Okay.
Hindi mo pwede
Okay.
paghaluin yung malaki at saka yung maliit na piling.
I see. Okay. So, ganun po. So, maliban doon sa ating pandemya, ano pa ngayon, currently, what are the major concerns of the industry?
Sa supply side, ang pinakamalaking challenge ay ang Panama disease. Ang Panama disease ay isang fungus na ipinapanganak sa lupa na pupunta sa system ng mga ugat, at pagkatapos ay lumilikha siya ng isang gel na nagbabara sa sistema ng paghahatid ng nutrients sa halaman. So nagiging sanhi ito ng pagkatuyo ng halaman. Yan yung dahilan kung bakit yung Panama disease ay tinatawag rin na Fusarium wilt, dahil yung dahon ay nagwi-wilt dahil wala lang ang nutrients na nakakarating sa kanya.
How
Yung
we are
problema dito,
progressing? Ito na, no, sa mapa, yung spread ng Panama disease, sa mapang yan, no?
so as you can see, after Typhoon Pablo, talagang dumami yung pagkalat ng Panama disease dahil sa flooding. Dahil yung Panama disease ay nadadala ng tubig.
I see.
So once there's flooding coming from a farm na merong Panama disease, mabilis siya malipat sa ibang mga plantasyon. So as you can see, since 2012, Ngayon, nasa 20,000 hectares yung infected with Panama disease. So, mabilis yung naging, and that's about 1/4 of the original industry.
Okay. So, hindi, napunta kami ni Secretary Jonathan, nakipag-usap sa inyo, stakeholders, para
Yes,
mabigyan ito ng solusyon, di ba? May funding between growers and DA for research on Panama disease
yes,
and
yes.
tissue culture laboratories. Can you give us some update on this, Alpi?
Yeah, actually, yung nagkausap ang PBJ with Secretary William Dar nung, I think, latter part nung last year. Actually, malaki talaga yung pasasalamat namin na finally, may assistance na inallocate ang gobyerno para sa Cavendish banana industry. Dahil sa loob ng almost 50 years, halos wala talagang binigay na substantial assistance ang gobyerno.
Okay.
But at that time, yung nagkausap tayo with Secretary William Dar, yung sinabi namin na yung PBJ ay binubuo lamang ng 50% ng industriya
Okay.
ng Cavendish banana. So, yung payo namin sa kanya ay na ang DA dapat ang manguna sa pag-uusap sa ibang 50% para
Okay.
makuha yung kanilang pangako sa counterpart na hinihingi ng DA. But definitely,
Okay.
sumasang-ayon kami na ang research at ang best farm practices ang pinakamahusay na paraan upang matugunan ang problema ng sakit sa Panama.
Okay. So again, I think we should be proceeding well kung kailangan pa ng pondo. Counterparting, di ba,
Counterpart,
Alpi?
yes, yes, yes.
So where will this be established? I think it's sa mga SUCs. Have you discussed this with the SUC there in Davao?
So yung plano is that I think 2 universities from Mindanao will be the one heading the research. And then there's a plan to also establish like a parang banana research institute that
Good.
will be similar to what you have with the rice, 'di ba? Yung International Rice
Oh,
Institute, but for bananas naman, 'di ba?
okay.
And then also to propagate yung mga variety na, well, for now, tolerant pa lang siya sa Panama disease, but at least it can help rehabilitate areas na dating natamaan ng Panama disease.
Okay. So meanwhile, meron kayong mga tolerant varieties na
Yes,
Panama
yes.
disease.
Meron na kaming mga Panama disease tolerant varieties. At actually, ibinabahagi rin namin ang mga varieties na ito sa buong industriya, hindi lamang sa mga miyembro ng PBJ, kung hindi rin sa mga ibang small growers or cooperatives na gustong maka-access sa variety na to. It's there, it's available.
Yeah. Maganda kasi itong pinag-usapan natin, no? Kasi of the 4 pillars na ina-advocate ni Secretary, yung farm consolidation. And banana industry is one of the best, if not among the best examples sa clustering and consolidation. Can you give us that insight on that, on clustering and consolidation of farms?
Yeah, I can only speak from the experience of Unifruti, because I had
Sige,
really
please.
a first-hand experience with this. Well, yung sa Unifruti kasi we start from acknowledging the fact na this whole agrarian reform program, this transition in the last decades, from a large landholding to a smallholder ownership has been very challenging and painful for many co-ops in Mindanao, as evidenced by the many sad experiences of cooperatives na they had to abandon their farms due to production failure or to lack of funds. So kasi our understanding is that under the CARP regime kasi, for instance, the status of the landowner farmers was transformed from they used to be laborers earning a minimum wage, diba? And then enjoying mandatory social benefits. And all of a sudden, when the land was returned to them, now they had the responsibility to reach operational targets, to purchase farm inputs, and bear all the full risks of the plantation. So in other
Okay.
words, hindi sila handa with the management skills, yung financial management skills, and the technology to continue operating a farm sustainably after the turnover. So recognizing that fact, In Unifruti, we have employed a model of dealing with cooperatives that we like to call the transformational business partnership, where small growers are in control of the farmlands and production, but receive critical support from Unifruti in their areas of technology, process management, quality control, working capital, access to credit, and access to markets. So one of the big component of this is really the facilitating access to finance for cooperatives. Because let's face it, diba? Smallholders and cooperatives have limited access to formal agricultural credit. And financial institutions are usually, very hesitant to lend to growers because they perceive them as risky and they would incur very high transaction costs.
Oo.
So one of our big components in helping these cooperatives is to provide them with short-term working capital loans and bridge financings, and then we
How
also
much would
include
it
them.
be? Magkano yan, Alpi? How much?
Well, depends on their need. For example, let's say sabihin nila sa amin, we need to rehabilitate our packing house. It's gonna cost us. Then that's pinapa-estimate namin. They say, let's say 5 million pesos. And so we give them a loan for five million pesos over a period of, let's say, 2 years, at below bank rates. So meaning to say we just have a
I
very
see.
small, because our rate with the banks are of course preferential compared to a small grower, right? So we pass on that rate with a very small margin, just to be able to help them access financing.
Okay. To date, ilang farmers cooperatives na ang under your wing, the Unipruti, if you may share?
Well, out of our total, we have about 6,500 hectares total production portfolio. Out of that 6,500 hectares, about one third is cooperatives.
I see. And the
Yes.
rest, the two-thirds, company owned or
The
something?
the rest are one third is company owned farms owned by Unifruti, and then the other third is mga big corporate farms like Marsman, yung mga
I see.
Alcantara farms.
I see. Okay.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, mga kaibigan, ang sinasabi po ni Alpi Bacani, itong nagawa po itong clustering consolidation sa banana industry at sa ibang commodities, pwede rin i-apply ito, Alpi, di ba? Are you saying?
Yes. Yes.
Para to
Yes.
achieve economies of scale. Yun. At may merkado, di po ba?
Yes. Yun naman yung importante is to be able to secure the market, and also the technology transfer from the big corporations to these smaller cooperatives, because on their own they would have first a very huge difficulty to access the markets directly, and also to be able to, because they don't have R&D departments, they lack also the financial and the educational background to be able to do such research projects. So they really need big corporations to be their partner in this undertaking.
Yeah. Thank you, Alpi. At this time, let's give way to the questions relayed to us by our media friends. First, Alpi, on the topic we were discussing, from Miss Mads Miraflor of Manila Bulletin, she asks, how is our global market share in terms of banana exports? And then, number two, is the Philippines able to keep our status as the world's top banana exporter? Alpi, how is our
Like
global
I said,
market share now?
yeah, like I said earlier, we're second in the world. That's about 13% of the Cavendish export volume, no? So that's after Ecuador, which is about 25% of the global market share is controlled by Ecuador, and so but we're second at
I see.
13%.
So, yan ang status po natin ngayon. Ayan, nakikita
Yes,
natin
yes,
sa screen ngayon, the top 5
yes,
exporters by value, no?
yes,
So
by
we're
value.
doing 1.9 billion was in last year or 2019?
This was 2019.
Okay. And how about last year? How did we fare last year, Alpi?
Actually, it was a bit below 2019. So I would say nasa mga 1.6 to 1.7 billion. And
Okay.
this is a reflection of the dwindling hectareage because of the Panama disease infestation.
Ah. So, what's your projection for this year? This year, 2021.
For this year should be very similar to last year because there's actually no new big expansions that are occurring in the industry.
Okay.
Sad to say, a lot of the multinationals prefer to expand in Ecuador or other Latin American countries rather than investing in the Philippines because nga of there's a risk, especially with
Okay. So, can you repeat that again, Alpi? You came in garbled a while ago. Can you repeat that?
what I was saying is sad to say, no, na, a lot of the big banana multinationals in the past years, instead of expanding in the Philippines, have decided to expand in other banana producing countries like Ecuador or Guatemala or Costa Rica because of the perceived risks in terms of Panama disease, especially.
So, again, critical talaga to, no? Ito pa yung tanong pa ni Mads, have we produced banana varieties resistant to Fusarium wilt? How much funds are allocated to this? And that's the yung first question muna.
Well, like I said earlier, wala pang resistant variety. Meron lang yung tolerant. So, ang difference
Okay.
ng tolerant sa resistant is pwede pa rin matamaan yung tolerant variety. But at least the level of recurrence is very small na lang. So,
Okay.
it's still a good solution, but it's not 100% resistant to the Panama disease.
Okay. Ito rin, tanong din ni Annabel Surara ng DCAC Radyo Agila, ganon din po, kumusta naman po ang banana plantation ng bansa? Yan po, nasagot na ni Alpi. At ano po ang epekto ng pandemya sa kanila? Yan po, nasagot na rin. Pero, Alpi, kumusta naman yung mga workers nyo? How are they coping under this pandemic? Kumusta naman
Actually,
sila?
what we noticed, no, the workers are more motivated because
Really?
I think na-realize kasi ng workers yung value of the work, di ba? Because a lot of companies have been closing down, di ba?
Okay.
Left and right, they know of relatives who've lost their jobs, especially in
Okay.
the entertainment or in the hospitality business na nawawalan ng trabaho. So the more they get to value their job and they're
Yeah.
thankful that they have jobs. So we have seen a big decrease in absenteeism. So workers are
Good.
coming to workers are coming to work, and they really want
Maganda yan.
to. That's the good effect lang of this pandemic. That I
It's
appreciate.
nice.
You count your blessings, diba, in the end
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you
I
still
was
have a
about to
job.
say that. Na
Yes,
they were blessed. They are blessed na talagang may trabaho pa sila.
yes,
Compared sa
yes,
ibang mga sektor na talagang walang trabaho. Di ba?
yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. So, yan po. Nasagot din yung mga tanong ni John Enriquez tungkol dito sa yung major banana producing provinces. Ano dyan sa Mindanao? Ang actually, diba, Oriental ba? Del Norte? Terms of area, anong number one dyan sa Mindanao?
Well, what they call the heart of the Cavendish banana industry is really the provinces of Davao del Norte and Compostela Valley.
So, yung
And
dalawang
then,
yan.
yan yung the heart. And then the rest are in Bukidnon, South Cotabato, Sarangani, Surigao del Sur. And then meron na rin sa Maguindanao, which
Okay.
is good.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, bakit po Mindanao? Dahil po hindi binibisita ng bagyo. But recently, binisita sila. Pero ganun pa man, compared to Luzon and Visayas, talagang yan po. Kasi ang daling tumbahin ng hangin, di ba? Ang saging, di ba, Alpi?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
very susceptible siya to blowdowns.
Okay, okay. Kay Ray Pilayo, yung comparative data daw ng production ng banana, ayan po, napakita na natin kanina, siguro ipakita pa natin. Yung exporting countries, ayan po ang production ng banana, top 5. Tapos, okay. And then siguro ang tanong pa ni isa, kumusta naman ang trend sa demand Alpi? At presyo? Demand ng
Actually,
banana.
yung nagkaroon ng pandemya, last year, nakita talaga namin yung nagkaroon ng increase in
Oh, talaga?
demand because naging health conscious yung mga tao, especially in
Oh.
first world countries, because nga gusto nila tumaas yung immune system nila from
Mm.
from getting the COVID virus. So the demand, especially in our main markets like Japan and China, went up last year.
Okay.
And same with the price. At least it was also reflected in the price. This year it's more or less similar, but we're having some downward price pressure sa China dahil marami na kasing saging na sa mga kapitbahay na bansa ng China tulad ng Vietnam at Cambodia
Mm.
na nagsimula mag-export ng saging in the last 3 years.
Mm.
And given yung proximity ng mga bansang yon to China like Vietnam and Cambodia, of course, mas mura yung saging nila kumpara sa Pilipinas.
Mm.
So, nagkaroon ng oversupply naman ng saging sa China in the last year because of all of these
Mm.
countries beside China supplying. So that's another threat to the Philippine Cavendish industry.
Okay. So, naku, ang bilis, Alpi, ng ating pag-uusap, no? Again, thank you. And then, parting words from your end, Alpi. So, Alpi Bacani is viewed from Davao po. So, again, Alpi, you have the floor for your closing message.
Well, I'd just like to thank you again, Asik Noel, for inviting me and giving the opportunity to banner for the Philippine banana industry, which you know we always say that it's one of the most important industries of the Philippines that that we should be proud of as a country that we have an industry that's competing as as the number 2 in the world for banana. So it's really important that this industry is protected and that its survival is proliferated because the jobs and the livelihood of about 1.4 million individuals are dependent on this industry. So thank you again, and good afternoon to everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Alberto Bacani, the President of Filipino Banana Growers and Exporters Association of the Philippines. So sa aming pagtatapos, muli kami nagpapaalala sa lahat na dapat po ay tuloy-tuloy ang daloy ng pagkain at iba pang essential inputs para sa food production. Magtulungan po tayo para sigurado ang delivery ng mga pagkain at iba pang agri and fishery products mula sa production center hanggang sa pamilihan at hapagkainan. Magkaisa po tayong lahat para ang lahat ng pamilyang Pilipino ay magkaroon ng access sa ligtas, de kalidad at murang pagkain. Kami nagpapasalamat muli sa ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda at iba pang food production partners, pamahalaan at syempre sa pribadong sektor na katuwang natin para masiguro na may sapat na at abot kayang pagkain para sa lahat. Sa lahat po ng miyembro ng 1DA family, ipagpatuloy po natin ang sama-samang pagkilos tungo sa isang food secure and resilient Philippines with empowered and prosperous farmers and fishers. Sa Radyo TV Malacanang, PTV4, Radyo Pilipinas at PCOO sa pamumuno ni Secretary Martin Andanar. Secretary Mart, again, maraming salamat sa pagkakataong binigay niyo sa amin dito sa Department of Agriculture at sa IATF Task Group on Food Security. Please visit our website, da.gov.ph, and like our official Facebook page, Department of Agriculture Philippines. And send us a tweet through the official Twitter account at Manong Willie. Para po sa mga past presser na nais ninyong mapanood muli, iba pang videos ukol sa agrikultura at fisheries, please visit and subscribe to the Ani at Kita YouTube channel of the Department of Agriculture. Hanggang sa susunod na virtual presser, ito po si Noel Ocampo Reyes at magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Kasama po natin si Mr. Alberto Bacani ng PBJ. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.